1 year and 30,000 miles ago, I upgraded my Tesla Model Y to this, a 2024 Tesla Model X long range. I have lived with every feature, quirk, and surprise this flagship SUV has to offer. Today, I'm going to be sharing my honest review of Tesla's most expensive SUV, the Tesla Model X. And here's the kicker, I am actually going back to the Model Y, and not for the reasons that you think it is. Today, I'm going to get to questions that really matter. What was it like transitioning from the Tesla Model Y to the X? Was it worth it? What did I like about the car? What I didn't like about the car? And most importantly, why am I really trading it in for the new Model Y? Now, I'm not here to bash Model X or to praise it blindly. What I want to do is share my honest opinion about the Model X. And this is coming from someone who loves EVs, who has owned a Tesla for more than 5 years now. Let's start with what Tesla absolutely nailed with the Model X. Coming from my 2022 Tesla Model Y performance, the difference is night and day. We all know how stiff the ride of the Model Ys before Juniper were. The 21-inch wheels on my performance version was even more harsher. I even downgraded to 19s on my Model Y, and it still felt like I was riding a skateboard compared to the air suspension of the Model X. The Model X's adaptive air suspension adjusts for various terrains, raising for off-roading or snow clearance, and lowering at highway speeds for efficiency. There is a GPS-based location memory that automatically adjusts the height at saved locations. Though I haven't had to use this feature much, I tend to just keep mine at a medium setting with a comfort focus soft dampening. The materials are noticeably more premium: Alcantara headliners, upgraded dashboard, and the door panels, and this massive 17-inch screen compared to the 15.4-inch on my old Model Y really felt like an upgrade. It's more spacious too, especially in width. Sitting in the front feels like a spaceship. The glass extends so far forward that my passengers literally gasp when they first sit in the car. On our road trips through mountains and cities with tall buildings, this expansive glass roof makes a big difference. But here's the thing. In my opinion, this is really a two-person luxury feature. The Model Y, on the other hand, has a panoramic roof that benefits the rear passengers more. So if you ask me, for couples, the Model X actually wins here. Yes, they are as cool as you think. After a year, not a single mechanical issue, and that's saying something since many Model X owners report problems within the first few months. They are the only part of a Tesla in any model that still uses sensors instead of just cameras. For families with small children, these doors are convenient for car seats, especially in tight spaces. You will always get a reaction from friends and family when they see it for the first time. But here's an annoying quirk. Now, I wish I can replicate this, but sometimes when I'm standing close, the sensors think I'm an obstruction even with plenty of space. I have to press the button again and move aside. The automatic doors are incredible. Press the brake, door closes. Approach with your phone, door opens. After using this for a year, going back to manual doors feels a bit primitive. And I have to be honest, this is one feature I'm truly gonna miss in the Model X. But there is a major flaw, and I have a story to share about an unfortunate experience that happened because of it, and I'll get to it in a bit. The soft closed doors are brilliant too. In tight spaces where you can't swing the door wide, just a gentle push and it latches perfectly, no slamming needed, which is great. The Model S and X are the only Teslas with a tilting screen feature. Great concept, but you see how the edges and corners get exposed when tilted? The exposed edges feel like they're more susceptible to damages. And listen to this. Those cracking sounds made me so nervous I stopped using it. It's a cool feature in theory, but underwhelming in practice. The Model X and S charge faster than the 3s and Ys. I rarely need more than 20 minutes at a supercharger. I've often noticed arriving after a Model 3 or Y owner that's already there at the charger and leaving before they are even done. When you're road tripping, those saved minutes really add up. I found this as a major upgrade from the Model Y. Unlike the 3 and Y, where it's a paid add-on, HomeLink comes standard with the Model X and the S. Garage doors open and close automatically based on the location, and that's a nice feature. Small convenience, but we all tend to use it every single day. Now, for the part of the Model X I really don't like. For a car now that starts at $100,000 for the base Model X, some of these issues are inexcusable. And this applies even for the refreshed Model X and S. They still have the same build quality issues. For the price of this car, the build quality is disappointing. Tesla has improved on the 3 and Y, but the X still has issues even with the refreshed versions. Look at these rubber pads, for example, on the Falcon doors. They don't sit flush, and I've noticed this issue with other Model X's that I have been in. My steering column made jarring sounds, especially on 3-point turns. It took 2 service visits to finally fix it. And then my trunk latch, it made a lot of noises every time I opened or closed the trunk. The creaks and rattles in the car are so frustrating. You think that you bought a luxury car, but sometimes it feels like it's a 10-year-old car when you hear those rattles. The Model S and X have an instrument screen behind the steering wheel. It's actually an upgrade compared to all the other models in the Tesla lineup. They don't offer this. But because of the steering wheel in the way, I can't see my speed without tilting my head. I'm 5'11" and I've tried many adjustments and it still won't fix it. It once took me a while to notice the low tire pressure warning on the top left. It's hidden because of the steering wheel. Now, the other issue that I had with the steering wheel was that if you see this left edge of the screen, the steering wheel cuts it off, so I'm constantly leaning to the right to get a clearer view of the main menu icon. The other visibility issue that I have has to do with the rear spoiler, which is fixed. Now, it blocks my rear mirror view with that partition midway. I have to be honest, after some time you kind of get used to it, but time to time when I look at the spoiler, it kind of bothers me that it's in the way. Now, let me tell you about the auto open feature that turned into a nightmare. So, the Model X can automatically open the driver's door and the passenger door in the front when you approach it, as long as you have your phone on you. Now, that sounds great, right? So, 2 weeks into owning the Tesla Model X, I drove upstate to visit a friend. I parked my car on his driveway and we took his Civic out. When we returned, he pulled into his driveway while I was sitting inside his car in the passenger seat. And what my Model X actually did was that it detected my phone key, which was in my pocket, and opened the driver's seat door completely wide open as we passed through. Now, the timing was so unfortunate that when the door opened, it took my entire friend's bumper and nothing happened to the car. It escaped with a few scratches, but my friend had his entire rear bumper off his car. His insurance covered it, which was good, but it was such an awkward situation that I had with my friend. Now, this is supposed to be an advanced feature, but it can also be such a detriment. I immediately disabled this feature. So the Model X and S were one of the first models to do away with the turn signal, just buttons. Now, after a month of ownership, I finally just got used to it. But even now and then, when I'm making multiple quick turns, I still can't get used to it. I'm always pressing the wrong button. It's not safe. It's not even more convenient. It's just different for the sake of being different. And that's something I really don't appreciate. Thankfully, the Model Y has brought this back, and I feel like every new model going forward in the Tesla lineup might start bringing the physical button back. There is no armrest for the rear passengers. on our road trip to Miami, my friend's feedback was that they kept swaying left and right at turns. They felt that the armrest would definitely help them from moving around. You get 2 cup holders in the front of the rear screen. That's all the storage you get. No door pockets because of the Falcon doors, of course, which I understand, and no storage in the back of the front seats. Okay, this is also another minor issue that I felt was a bit inconvenient, especially when I used to do grocery runs. This extra storage at the back. Now, watch what happens when I try to open the lid. It just falls in because the lip is too small to hold it. There are no dedicated coat hooks in the second row. There are 2 hooks in the trunk though, but those are meant for grocery bags, not coats. I don't understand how a luxury car misses out on coat hooks. Now, this is minor, but the piano black door handle functions like push buttons, which I like, but they become fingerprint magnets. The Model 3 and Y's matte black or satin finish is so much better, and I hope that one day Model X follows suit. Here's the shocking part. In 30,000 miles, I have spent exactly $0 on maintenance. 0, not even tire replacements. Here's a pro tip. If you want your tires to last longer, I suggest keeping it in chill mode. It goes a long way. I have just used 70% of my tire and I've already driven 30,000 miles, and that's great considering the weight of this car. When you are in sport mode, you tend to get tempted to keep launching the car, so putting it in chill mode does go a long way for the usage of the tire. By the way, the energy efficiency on the car has been great, considering this is running on 20-inch wheels and how heavy the car is. For those build quality issues I spoke about, they were covered under the 4-year warranty or 50,000 mile warranty, whichever comes first. And in case if you're interested to know about the battery warranty, it's 8 years or 150 miles. My only cost that I can really think about are charging costs, charging at home or at superchargers, and maybe car washes. Seriously, finding another luxury SUV in the range of 80,000 to 100,000 with this low maintenance, I can't really think of another car right now. So here's my honest verdict. The Model X is still an amazing car with features you can't get anywhere else. But the game has changed. The new Model Y Juniper has narrowed the gap significantly. You have a better suspension, you have a quieter cabin, automatic folding seats. Some of these features even the Model X doesn't have. Let's talk about money. The Model X now starts at $100,000, pushing to $125,000 for a fully spec'd Plaid. A fully loaded 2026 Model Y Performance with FSD costs $64,000. That's a $40,000 difference. Before the Juniper, upgrading to a Model X made sense. Now, unless you absolutely need the Falcon doors and slightly more spacious interior, it's hard to justify. The refreshed Model X looks almost identical to when it was refreshed back in 2021, while the Model Y has evolved a lot. Though one thing to note, Tesla does throw in FSD and lifetime supercharging with the Model X right now, which kind of helps, but I'm still trading in mine for the new Model Y Performance. And honestly, besides those automatic doors, including those mesmerizing Falcon doors, I won't miss much. Look, the Model X is an incredible car. It delivers the extra features, the space, the wow factor. But here's what happened. The Model Y Juniper has evolved so dramatically that it's changed the entire value equation. When I bought the Tesla Model X, it definitely was an upgrade over the 2022 Tesla Model Y Performance that I had. But now, the new Juniper offers 80% of Model X's experience at 60% of the price. It's not that the Model X got worse. The new Model Y Juniper has just gotten so much better. For families with young kids who need those Falcon doors, or if you want absolutely the best Tesla SUV regardless of the price, the Model X might still be the king. But for most of us, the new Model Y just makes more sense. This was my honest take after 30,000 miles. If you are in the market for a Tesla and this video helped, make sure to hit the like button. I make a lot of videos on Tesla, and in the comments below, let me know if you're Team Model Y or Team Model X. I'd like to know. Until the next time, I'll catch you in my next video. Bye-bye.